Countdown to Election Day, presented by AARP New Jersey. Visit aarp.org/NJ Votes.
And as we head into a critical election season, making informed choices at the ballot box has never been more important. To help New Jersey voters get ready, AARP is launching a statewide effort to provide trusted, nonpartisan information about the candidates and issues that matter most, from health care, retirement security, to caregiving and community safety. Joining us now is Chris Widelo, who is State Director for AARP New Jersey, to tell us more about this initiative and how AARP is helping voters feel confident and informed before they cast their ballots. And for transparency, we want to mention that AARP New Jersey is one of our sponsors. Chris, good morning. Welcome. Good to have you on today.
Good morning, Ken. Good to see you.
You bet. So why is AARP prioritizing voter education for this election cycle?
Yeah, AARP has a long history of voter education. We've done this for decades. Just to clarify, AARP is nonpartisan. We don't support any particular candidate, any particular party, and we certainly don't contribute to any political action committees or campaigns. But we do educate our members. We have 1.2 million members in the Garden State, and we let them know what candidates are saying about issues that matter to them most. And you laid out a number of areas where we have interest in this upcoming gubernatorial election. And so we educate not only our members, but we also let the candidates know what, the pulse of the 50 plus, what they are thinking, what their concerns are, and and make sure that when people head to the polls on the 4th of November, less than a month, they have some quality information on helping them make a decision when they vote.
And also, for full transparency, I'm 58 and I've been a member since I'm 49. So I'm an AARP card carrying member myself. And honestly, yes, what you are saying, for anyone who has not checked out AARP, if you read the literature, it's impossible to tell what side of an issue you take. You are as down the middle as anything and any organization I've ever seen. It's amazing. What are the biggest issues you are hearing about from AARP members in New Jersey?
Yeah, sure. When we looked at some polling this past spring, when we talked to our members and the 50 plus in general, affordability is the top issue for New Jerseyans. And it's no secret that this is an expensive state to live in. But our respondents to this poll cited things like taxes, and also utility affordability as being two of the barriers that prevent people from aging well here in New Jersey, because it becomes unaffordable when over 90% of people who were polled, both Democrats and Republicans, said affordability is a top issue, especially when it comes to things like property tax. And 48%, so nearly half of them, said that they've considered leaving New Jersey in the last year because of how expensive it is to be here. Great state, but it does take, it is an expensive place to live.
100%. And especially for retirees, where I live in northern New Jersey, I have so many friends who've said, we love it here. We don't want to do it, but we're going to have to sell our house and move to the Carolinas or move to Florida. And it's so sad to hear that after people have spent decades in a home in New Jersey and raised a family, that they can't just stay in their home until, in their golden years. So yeah, that is such an important topic, of course. And how does AARP ensure that the campaign remains strictly nonpartisan?
Sure. So, that is something that we are not being nonpartisan, and being, not tipping our hand either way is incredibly important. Is I think the most important thing that we do. And so one of the ways that we do that is we ask the candidates to respond to a voter guide. So we interview them, each candidate. And so in their own words, they are able to respond to questions that we have. So AARP sets our policy. We have a policy book where we have a position on many issues, ranging from the ones that we just talked about to healthcare and beyond. And then we present our policy positions to the candidates in advance. And then when we do interview them, or we produce a video voter guide, which will be launching very soon, we are hearing the candidates respond to our position in their own words. So there is no, confusion as to whether or not this is in fact the candidate's position. But again, our goal is to educate candidates educate the public, and let them hear directly from the candidates on things like you mentioned, property taxes, utility rates, healthcare, and caregiving, which are just incredibly important to people in this election. And the 50 plus vote is going to carry this election. They are the most influential voting bloc, and so we want candidates to pay attention to these issues and respond with with positions that are that people can take in and decide when they head to the polls.
Yeah, Chris. And by the way, something else that I want to praise AARP about is the fact that you still have a printed resource. Your guide, your monthly guide is printed. And the reason I say that is because my parents are 87 and 94. My dad will be 95 in a few weeks. They don't like to get online and look at things. I do. I go to the website all the time.
Right.
But my parents like the fact that AARP mails them, because they're also card carrying members and have been for many decades. They like the fact that you could still get a printed guide from AARP. So talk about, again, some of the different resources that AARP offers to help voters make those informed choices. You mentioned a few now. You mentioned the voter guide. What other resources do you have?
Sure. So we have, we obviously have our publications that we do mail out. We have a magazine, and we have a bulletin that goes out to select portions of our membership on a regular basis. And then our magazine is distributed to all AARP members. We also, but our online platform allows us to really get information up quickly and, and keep it updated in real time. So, we do have a website, aarp.org/NJ and on there, you can find information on our video voter guides, which we conducted with each of the candidates running for governor, and also information on how to vote, where to vote, when early voting takes place, when you can request and the deadlines for an absentee ballot. So we want to make it a one-stop shop. So if you have questions going into this election, you can find AARP resources about that. And we also link to our elections division here in New Jersey if you're looking for further information or you have specific questions that can't be answered by what is on our website.
So being that you led right into that, let me put that on you. What is the most common question or concern that you hear from older voters when it comes to elections?
Yeah, I think what we hear essentially is, where do I vote? When do I vote? Making sure that they understand, I think everybody now is kind of conditioned to when election day is, but with early voting and the opportunity to use a mail-in ballot, they just want to make sure that they have the deadlines correct. And I think one of the things that we have stressed is sort of the process of filing that mail-in ballot to make sure you do it the right way, that you seal it the correct way and sign it, and, all the steps that are required. Usually it's just the mechanics of it that we need to provide some guidance with, and it's again outlined on our website, and you also link to the state's website for further clarification. We also know that they always do remind us that older voters vote, so they're proud of the fact that that they are going to be the deciders of this election, as they have for the last number of elections.
Yeah, we always hear with each election cycle, rock the vote, young people get out, and there's always that one mass of young people out at a rally, and you think, oh wow, they're going to influence the election. Then you find out that only 2% of them actually show up on election day. That doesn't mean that that'll always be the case, but it's just a fact that older people tend to vote in
Yeah.
much larger percentages than younger people. So, the message definitely can be made, and people need to get out there, and if you could early vote, early vote. That's another thing I wanted to ask you about. How are older people, or are they embracing the idea of vote by mail and early vote more? Because I know a lot of people were reticent about it in the beginning.
Yeah, I think it's become, a good convenience, right? That, people, just because they are older and they may be retired, doesn't mean they're not busy. It doesn't mean that they don't have other obligations. And so I think it's just another option that if they're not able to get to the polls for whatever reason, that they know that they have some options to either vote early, right, and take advantage of voting in person during that period of time, or, if there is a need, they can request a mail-in ballot. So I think it's the convenience, I think, is becoming something that a lot of voters, all voters, are now appreciating.
Yeah. And what's a website, once again, for people to go to get AARP's election guides, compare the candidates, and check all the important deadlines?
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to thank all the candidates for taking the time to respond, because it really just helps everybody make an informed decision. So it's aarp.org/NJ votes.
All right. For more information on when, where, and how to vote, please visit once again aarp.org/NJ votes. Chris Widelo, State Director for AARP New Jersey. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thanks, Ken.